Parents deciding my fate, need to get out. Well, today hasn't gone very well. Today I sat down with my dad to finish college applications. I was done and he reviewed it. He got mad when he saw business as my major, what I'm truly passionate about. I didn't tell him I did not want to be a doctor until I explained to him why I put business. I go to a high school with a focus on medicine and we have medical classes. If I liked medicine I would know, but I absolutely hate it. What I do enjoy is business. So after he saw it, he changed it to biology and submitted the application for me. I have been working hard all throughout high school to get into a good business school, but now I have to go to subpar ones that have a good medical school. But I guess it's not that bad. It's just that I hate medicine. Now I don't know what to do. Go to college until my fast lane idea takes off. I don't have a job and my parents are paying for my college. I just don't want to be in college in a major I hate. Maybe even run away once I graduate high school. I might be homeless, but I will have a clean slate and be more motivated. I wouldn't run away. You have to man up and really talk to your father. You will regret it in the future if you don't have this conversation and your parents persuade you to do medicine. College is ultimately your choice. No person can tell you what's right for you. I know it's hard, and your parents are very much set in their ways, believe I know. I was being groomed to go to law school for a long time and it just wasn't my cup of tea. But don't run away. Your parents love you and want the best for you. A lot of people don't have this kind of love or support. Maybe you need to take a year off, get a job in a field you want to work in, or work on your fast lane idea. Shack up with some roommates and pay your rent or bills. Once you're financially independent, your parents honestly have no say in your life. Take a year off and work hard. Or go to college or work or pursue fast lane dream. School is not an easy choice though. That's the one field that takes at least 8 years and more of your life. It's a serious decision. Good luck, do what you feel is right. This one video has over 135 million views. The message behind my post has more to it than just a video. Can you figure it out? Yep, there's no escaping this. You can either go to college and secretly change your major, and then tell your parents later like a total chicken shit. Or you can take that first step on your way to manhood. It's coming like a freight train, if you want it or not, or you can stay a child for more years, and then be miserable the whole time. We will be interested to watch to see how you deal with this shit. Man up, or chicken shit out. Keep us updated. Z. Thanks for the replies. Right now I just can't talk to them. It's either I go to college to become a doctor or they disown me. I think I should just leave, take a bus to New York just to get out of here. Get an apartment for $200 a month. Working a minimum wage job to pay for rent or food. I would just bring the money I currently have saved up, $1,000 in my laptop. Start fresh with no problems. Just focus on fast lane. How old are you? $1K and a laptop won't get you very far in New York. You will either prosper knowing this is your means of escape, and you will have to do something about it like in the, or you will fail trying to take care of yourself while trying to work on your fast lane idea. If they disown you, say, fine. Your loss. And leave. Because you're looking leave anyway. Say, I won't make a doctor. And it's my life. Not yours. Thanks, I love you. But I have to do my thing. Good luck either ways. Tough situation, man, but you will encounter many more. You feel as though you can't talk to them, but I'm a parent, and if my kids hit me with something I was totally against, well, it's their life. I would still love them, and I really doubt yours would disown you. I don't know what your parents are like, but Z is right in that those are your choices. Choose wisely, slowly. Really think this through. Is there a counselor teacher friend of the family you can confide in and use as a bridge to help you? Tell them. Good luck, let us know what happens. We're all pulling for you. If you do decide to talk to them, and choose a direction other than theirs, present it to them as a business plan. Show them what you have researched and where you plan to take it. Show some maturity, gumption, backbone, and brains, and they are more apt to listen. Don't ever make it sound like you don't have a plan, or you will look like a scatterbrained adolescent. Good luck either way. It's just different. Indian parents are different. In their eyes I'm a kid who doesn't know. They think I will thank them later for them forcing me to stay on the path to become a doctor. It is just normal for Indians. It is never what do you want to be when you get older, it is I will be so proud of you when you become a doctor. There is nothing I can argue to change their minds. My dad was an engineer and my mum had a B.S in commerce. My mom never got a job with the degree, and my dad said if he was in the same situation I was in, dad was immigrant but we are well off now, he would have went to medical school. I have no leeway. I just want to escape, focus on my business, and then return once my business becomes successful. Kind of like I told you so. I don't want to burn any bridges with my family. I will leave on a positive note saying that it is the best for me and there is not hate either way. I am Indian, and let me tell you, being Indian is actually a great thing. We have beautiful people and we have ugly people. Just like any race. I for one am a great person, have great friends, and I take care of everyone that is in my life, and I am glad to do it, and for that I have people that love me around me. Also, Indian parents are one of the best parents you can have. Sometimes they can be really strict, but they will take care of you no matter what, and they will buy you whatever it is that you need. As long as you're not a selfish head. Also, we all have great jobs, lots of money and a family that we all love and take care of. Indian parents are one of the best parents you can have. Sometimes they can be really strict, but they will take care of you no matter what, and they will buy you whatever it is that you need. As long as you're not a selfish head. Also, we all have great jobs, lots of money and a family that we all love and take care of. It's a famous copy-paste, but the last lines seem like they are relevant to your situation. You basically have three choices: 1, 2. Run away with your $1,000 and laptop. I know the feeling. Sometimes I feel like doing the same thing. But when you really think rationally about it, it's kind of stupid to do this when things can be so much easier. 3. Man up and tell your parents exactly how you feel. Will they be upset? Probably. Should you care? No. Yes, they're your parents and you love them, etc. But you are your own person, and at some point or another mom and pops have to learn that. I think it's safe to say that if you end up going through with them school what you hate, that you will begin to resent your parents and hating your life. Why risk that happening when you could just deal with them being angry or disappointed for a while, and then they will get over it once they see that you are passionate about the business thing and plan to make things happen for yourself. Although, I don't know how strict they are and if they would go to the extent of refusing to pay for your college if you decided not to do the medical thing. Either way though, I still recommend manning up and respectfully telling them you have to do what you feel is best for you. If they disown you, then well, I hate to put it so blunt, but what kind of parents would disown their kids? Makes you wonder. Good luck, man. P.S. You should be thankful you have parents who care. But at the same time, caring too much to the point where they are controlling your life certainly isn't healthy for you. In my teens, I had life-altering arguments with my parents about my future. They weren't bad people, they just grew up in a different time with different values. When I look back at those tenuous moments, when it felt like they were hanging me out to dry, I know now that was when I became an adult. The most honorable thing you can do is be true to yourself. Life is short and fragile. It's nonsense to live it for someone else. Honestly, I'm surprised some people haven't commented against going to school for business. I thought about going to school for business a long time ago, but my experience with teachers shows me one thing: the people they're paid for the teaching they are regurgitating. They didn't learn it on their own. To the teachers here, please don't take offense. I got along better with teachers who let me learn on my own or knew what they were talking about. This thread is about a young man growing up and taking control of his life. It is not another "should I go to college" thread, please. The most succinct way of putting the massive life change that will soon overtake this young man. Awesome. Conventional systems of teaching do not lead to wealth beyond dollars, health beyond eternal youth, and life or time beyond it being spent doing what you enjoy. I say that very line I came up with a few years ago, to every single person that patronizes my views when it comes to these subjects. Say it to them, don't explain it to them. Hand them MJ's book to read. And note, I love you both, and since you both love me, you will understand there is more to me than what you see. You will not leave. You will stay, and instead the dollar you would be spending on rent or heating or utilities and so on if you did move out, should be saved and spent on your fast lane plan. But yes, if you did get pressured to fend for yourself on your own, you would surely grow quicker than the rate to which you are currently growing as a person. Parents do not know how much they harm their kids by providing for them so much. It just goes to show they love you guys and gals dearly. But there is a balance of love and freedom which not many people see. And parents have yet the ability to find that balance. Gives me a perfect book idea. Sometimes, it's easy to look at things as black and white, when there might be a middle ground. Obviously, your parents care about you. And yet, it's completely understandable that you don't want your path mapped out by someone else, especially when it's a path you don't want. If you go to college, will you be expected to work? Obviously, if you go the premed route, you'll need to study your butt off to get good grades. But other than class and studying, what would you do with your time? From what I saw in college, the kids who didn't work had lots and lots of time for clubbing and whatnot. I waitressed my way through college, so obviously, free time wasn't abundant in my case. Consider this: if you take your cash and laptop, and run away from home, you'd probably end up working a low-paying, crappy job just to pay for food and shelter. How much time and energy a week would this consume? More than the hours you'd spend in class and studying? I guess what I'm saying is that if your goal is to get on a fast lane path, there's nothing keeping you from doing it while you went to school, and being supported by your parents. Right now, I work a full-time job, take care of a family, and still make the time to work on my fast lane. If you don't have kids, and you don't have a job, you could always pursue your fast lane path while going to college. Then, when you had proven success, you'd be perfectly able to strike out on your own. Imagine telling your parents, "I'm not going to be a doctor, because I already make that much in my fast lane business." The conversation would likely be a whole lot different. Just a thought. Maybe you don't want to be a doctor, but as a thread on these forums, I mention 3 businesses that require a doctor. And all 3 businesses after the second year of operations and proper expansion and dedication make at least $1 to $2 million profit a year. It takes a doc and a business-minded individuals, and let me say, doctors are too, I don't want to say stupid, but oblivious to what they can really be earning. Just some food for thought. The post above mine was spot on. Go to college for business if you can, which you can, if you were firm and told them where you are coming from, but if not, if you like medicine whatsoever, that thread is wise to look into. I speak from having had a hand in those businesses, and from friends or family that have started them. Forgot to mention, barrier to entry exists big time. You either are a doc, or hire one at 197K average salary a year. Yep. If I was a doc, I would have at least the dialysis center set up by now. Another option, apply to schools without your parents knowing. Then once you get in, try to get as many scholarships as possible and aim for a full ride. If you can get into a top business undergrad that's paid for, then you won't need your parents to support you. More options come afterwards. Been in your shoes more than I wished. I was to be shipped off to the Caribbean to All Saints Medical School right after high school, since it's easier to do than here in Toronto. Had the acceptance printed and sitting on my desk. Decided to not go. Tell my parents, both highly educated engineers, and the entire family, I have 8 doctors in the family alone, that they were relentlessly pushing me. Never mind the 6 engineers. I spent countless hours with head in research mode and my nose in every personal finance, career choosing, success resource I could find. I soon found out how shitty of a deal being a doctor really is. Here in Canada, it goes like this: 4 years undergrad, get 3.9 GPA or high 95%, the 4 years in ball-busting school. Then another 4 years in completing your residency internship. Then you become a doctor to get paid $200,000. From seeing 8 doctors go through it, after they become recognized doctors, they work at a hospital or another clinic as a job about 60+ hours a week until they have their own money to start their own clinic. What they, in my physician uncle's words, realized too late is, you can just hire them. For example, my uncle opened his medical clinic up, and although he is ranked one of the top physicians in Canada, violated commandments of fast lane, and his clinic is now barely keeping his head above water because he lacks business skill and experience. Why not expedite that process by gaining the knowledge you need? Tell them these things. Show them on paper why building assets is better for you. Where a successful doctor ends up, where a successful business ends up. The days of becoming a professional and keeping a job are gone. Times have changed, and so must you. In the end, they want the best for you. They are only just telling you what they know. Hope this helps. Cheers and good luck. Guys, I've said this in another thread. There is a huge need for someone of Asian or Indian culture to write a book on how to deal and break free from overbearing parents who demand to dictate the path of their child's life into unwanted professions. It seems that these parents don't give a shit about their kids' happiness, but only about the prestige of having to say my child's a doctor. I'm considering this. Maybe even an e-book. You are right about not having to be a doctor to get your own practice, but being a doctor will give you a high-earning job that should pay for a lot of fast-lane ideas. But it's a crappy job and long and expensive training. I suggest you choose manhood and blaze your own path versus being a little kid in an 18-year-old body for the next 4 to 5 years. If you want to study business at the university, then do it. That's your business. The essence of maturity is independence, financially and mentally. If your parents are making decisions for you, then you are a kid, plain and simple. Adults make their own decision and author their own life. The first thing I would do is convince your dad that studying medicine would put you in a lot of pain. Parents don't like seeing their kids in pain. Be convincing. Be assertive and tell them what you really think. Sell them the idea just like an entrepreneur would. If all else fails, then you escape and claim what is yours, your life. Because if you live by others' expectations, then you are sure to be miserable. Your life is important, and you should never let anybody tell you what is appropriate or not appropriate for it. This type of BS is very unhealthy because it actually inhibits growth. Or an engineer. Do you live in India? I don't know what it is like to have Indian parents, but I do know a couple things. 1. You're not going anywhere with $1,000 in NY. I live in the area. There is nothing for $200 per month, even in the shittiest of shitty places. Do not do this, you'll end up on the street. 2. You are lucky to have parents that care about you this much. But, if it actually does come down to either you go to school, or they disown you, screw that and screw them. You have to make your own life. 3. Just have a talk with them. Don't yell, don't cry, just state the facts. Good luck. One of the business I have invested in, and sit on the board of director, hires doctors while the doctors make a good solid 400k a year. The business does 6x that. Just a thoughts. I would ask your mom and dad why they are making you choose a path to which you will be very unhappy for the rest of your life. Why they think they should choose your life for you. If it was me, I'd just tell them to FCK off and mind their own business. But that's just me. Obviously we have a generation and a culture gap. Anyway, what about seeking help from an elder? Even adults have elders whose counsel they respect. Grandparents, an aunt or uncle, maybe even respected family friend. You need an older ally that your father respects and will listen to. There has to be someone within your world that can understand and help you to make your case. This assumes of course that you can convince this elder that you have your shit together. This person would also likely be your first mentor. Problem is, I'm sure the parents are footing the bill. If they're paying for the education, they ultimately hold the power. You need to calm down. The first thing you need to work on is transitioning to standing on your own feet. Once you are able to stand on your own feet without help, then you can start making moves. Without your self-made base there is no way to move forward. I would question your false choice of giving in or rebelling. Running away solves very little. Think of your parents as your first big customer. If you have a tough customer, do you run away? You got prelim feedback that your presentation of your life plan needs some work. Sell your parents on your choices and give them good data and reasons why. Do your research and consider your audience. You can throw a medical twist as a medical biz potential opportunities on it if you want to weave in their medical status appeal wants. To get buy-in. A billion kids would nearly kill to be in your spot. Downgrading yourself to being nearly homeless and poverty level will not help you at all. Give your parents a little credit. Think of your parents as potential investors in you and your business plans, which is exactly what they are. If they aren't buying in, it tells you that you need work on your pitch. A question I ask myself a lot is, would I rather be rich or be right? When you are financially secure, it's much easier to hold out to prove a point and be right. Being right costs a lot of money. Ask anyone who's ever hired an attorney. Until then, pick your battles and work with what you have. Think of your parents as investors or customers. You need to tweak your pitch to solve their problems and meet their needs. This does not mean doing everything they say, it means change and pitch your plan to satisfy their requirements so they agree with you. It's funny that the other post you are talking about is also made by me. I can't convince my parents. They are set on this doctor thing. They know I do good in school and I can actually get through school if I wanted to. But I don't. In their eyes I have all these opportunities and I should make the most of it. It's just been what my life has been revolving around since I was little. I can't just change their mind in a couple of conversations. They think I will thank them later for the decision to keep me on the premed track. I think I am just going to make them happy. Do premed until my fast lane business takes off. If it doesn't, then drop out of college. What about you? I think it's disgusting for someone to throw their own happiness away to please someone else. I don't care if it's a friend, romantic partner, sibling, or parents. If it were me, I would just not go to college at all. I've heard so many people who went to college talking about how their real learning process started when they got out. It's your life, for Christ's sake. If this is the case, then you are going to end up disappointing them either way, so you might as well get it over with now. I disagree. This is an extremely selfish stance and imho is what is wrong with life today. We see things black or white, happiness or unhappiness, throw life away, etc. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do. Life throws you curves. No one has guaranteed anyone the right to happiness. The choice to be happy is yours whether things go your way or not. Sometimes life gives you stuff that is tough. Maybe your child gets injured or disabled, maybe your elderly parent's health takes a bad turn. You cannot always dictate the situation or circumstance, but the choice to be happy is still yours. It may make the op happy to keep his parents happy. It is his life and his choice. Don't label it as disgusting just because his choice is not your choice. Good point. But I still find it quite disturbing. I understand life isn't all rainbows and flowers, and sometimes we have to make sacrifices, but there is a difference between making a sacrifice and throwing away your self-respect. But, at the end of the day, all you have is yourself in this world. If it's selfish, then so be it, but I would make the decision that makes me happy even if it meant disappointing family. Obviously, in a perfect world I would want my decision to make both me and my parents or whomever happy, but sometimes that isn't possible. What is selfish is for someone to push someone else to do something for their own gain instead of respecting the decision of the person whose life it actually affects. I respect your opinion and it's an interesting perspective, but we can agree to disagree. Edit. I will say this though. This is a tough situation because after all, his parents are paying for it, so I guess they kind of have a right to make the decision, but I still think they should let their son go after what he wants. They seem like parents who want the best for their son, but I just don't agree with their methodology. I honestly and truly hate your parents for this. And I hate saying this. Man up, communicate what you want clearly, and do your thing. Period. My mum also cares too much about us, to the point she provides every little detail, every time. And I hate this. I often argue with her about that. Tell them you respect them and therefore you deserve and require the same respect to choose what is most meaningful to you. Whether they like it or not, it's irrelevant to you and it's not your business. Let the emotional part aside, talk reality. Parents can make life decisions for you until the age of 13 to 14, but after that, they can at most observe and advise. Life experiences define you more than anything else on what you will become and teach you more than anything else what you really want. Do not let yourself be governed by fear, for it will become your comfort zone. Step up on doing what you like to do. They will back away after a while. I wish I could speed this. Speed plus. Interesting to hear all the young guns here asserting their independence. I agree that it's his life and his choices. However, his choices are influenced by his history, family finances, and personal relationships with his parents. When you become a dad and have a teen of your own, you may see the other side. I have raised one and work with hundreds of teens over the years. Not many are very focused on what they want and have planned to get. All teens I have met want the nice house, car, pets, spouse, etc. A few may have a plan or an idea to get there. Even fewer have the guts, drive, and determination to achieve it. There are many problems here and I have experienced it from many directions. As a teen, all I wanted was my independence and for people to leave me alone. I took the first crappy job I could that would provide me with the income I needed. That decision has an impact on my life today, good or bad. As a dad, I want what is best for my kid. I want her to grow past my mistakes and make her own. We have discussed the limits of my support as she makes her way in the world. As an educator or mentor, I see one problem with US society and the education system. We, collectively, tell the kids where to be and what to do until 18. At 18 and graduated, we tell them that they are an adult. Good luck. Some kids just are not ready for that. Some can't cope with all the sudden freedom and choices. Some can. The op is at a crossroads. He is young and inexperienced. He is going to have to make tough, adult decisions. No way around it. Someone is not going to get what they want. Only the op can make those decisions. I don't know many parents that can be reasonable about this. They have 18 years of money, time, and emotion invested into you. For the mom, it's all about emotion and love for her grown baby. For the dad, it's all about logic. We have to respect the decision the op makes. He is the one that will have to live with it. Good luck. Move out, kid. If you believe college is something you need for success, either forge your own path, convince your parents, or put up with their choices because it is their money. I think it is honorable that you recognize the last option. You don't have to work a minimum wage job. There are more options available to you. Look into fresh out of high school internships and any job that's typical, like being a waiter. If you take this path, pay attention to all of the business happening around you. You will learn a great deal. Good luck. Perhaps our friend Twizzler's parents should want him to make his own mistakes as well. I'm all for parents wanting the best for their kids and doing everything in their power to lead them in the right direction, but don't you think it is a little unhealthy to over-shelter your kids and make all their decisions for them? One of the main ways they are going to learn is by making mistakes. Yes, it will be a little heartbreaking when your child tells you they don't want to follow the path you want them to go down but instead want to take a different path. But what's worse? Feeling a little heartbreak or having your child resent you when he goes down the path you wanted him to go down and ends up with a degree he has no interest in, working in a field he has no passion for while he wonders, what if I would have chosen my path? Even if the child chose the wrong path and ended up in a rough spot, if I was a parent I would feel better knowing that I gave it a good shot at guiding my child in the right direction, but he chose his own path and it didn't turn out so well for him, so now he will just need to learn from it and move on, versus the feeling of, wow, I forced my child to go down the path that he didn't want to go down and now he is unhappy with his life and our relationship suffers because of that initial decision to make him go down so and so path. But I'm not a parent. By the way, I respect your view as a father, and it looks like your daughter is in good hands. I wish I had a father to teach me a thing or two growing up like you are teaching your daughter. I'd be tempted to put the case to one's parents that you've no desire to become a doctor and spend the rest of your life doing something you get no fulfillment from. But you need to make your case. Not sure if Op has explained things to his father as clearly as he has to us on the forums. Wondering if Op's desire to go to business school has come as some out of the blue surprise to the father, or whether the father has known for some time that the Op wants to do business and medicine. Op needs to clarify on whether communication between himself and the father is strong to begin with, lest we all make a lot of assumptions. Well, from what I make of this, either way, I'd politely pass on the offer to go to college if it has to be on that basis. I'd be extremely formal and non-emotional about it when you state it to them. I'd then be tempted to get some sort of part-time job where you use part of the proceeds made to pay board to your parents, whilst offering to work free for a company or industry you want insight into. Hell, you might even be taken on and paid. You parents will see you aren't of the mind to storm off and will have to confront you on your reasons at some point. Why? Because you'll be there under their noses, amicably paying your way in adult fashion. It's stiff upper lip passive resistance, but demonstrates you're not a parasite whose destiny is based on their injection of money and are constantly available for an adult discussion on the matter at all times. Probably the only sort of tactic you can use to you opt for the extreme option. In fact, they can't accuse you of being any sort of drain on resources in any kind of fashion given the money you're saving them in going to college. Tough decision ultimately. Tell them you want to start writing erotica. Then negotiate down to business majors. Never written a book before. But the more I read and hear of these similar situations, the more I feel compelled to try. Greatest thing I've read in a while. Edit, tried to quote the quote Bidenize. Didn't work. I think it would be wise for you to come up with a plan that you know will work before making any rash decisions. This also includes college. Dropping out is always a great solution, but so is going to school. I opted to drop out. My parents still aren't completely comfortable with it and urge me to go back next semester. While I wasn't very productive at school, I'm more productive now but still learning something new every day. I believe it's much worse to have a lack of motivation in something your parents are paying for. I don't quite know their financial situation, but even in this economic climate it isn't wise to just throw away money even if you have tons. College needs to be a solid investment in your end, and if you're not quite invested in that route, you need to seriously evaluate the pros and cons of staying and choosing another major or analyzing pros and cons of dropping out. Sure, it's obviously much easier to stay in school. For the next 4 years, if you're committed, you will have homework assignments and your classes will be as easy as pie if you're a good student and learn things rather quickly. Dropping out, on the other hand, is not. You will have more time to dedicate to what you want to pursue, but you'll have no one giving you a schedule or telling you what you need to get done, so it becomes really easy to slack off if your priorities aren't straightened out beforehand. I don't advise a backup plan for anyone. You're either going to do what you intend to or you're just not. While your situation is fairly delicate and mirrors the experience of what many entrepreneurs often face when it comes to college, I would make sure that you're honest with yourself, actually know that this is what you want to do and acknowledge if you have the capabilities to pull this off, because if you don't, being a dropout and not having shit going on is much worse than going to school and becoming a doctor. I think you should talk to your family and ask them this: do they want you to become a doctor because 1 you are saving lives and helping people. 2 you can make a lot of money. 3 they can brag to their friends about you. Being Asian, I have had this talk with many of my Asian friends. I can tell you that number 1 is never the reason. I would say that number 2 is their main concern. They equate money with happiness and an easy life. Number 3 is also a big deal. It's not limited to Asian parents. Everyone would love to brag about their kids to others. It makes them happy. However, if you make $1 million being a porn star, I bet they would not be doing number 3. So it's really not number 2, deep down inside it's really number 3. So once you address that question, assuming they answer number 2, you will have the tough task of convincing them that you can make doctor money in business. Why? Because most immigrants only think of business as brick and mortar retail or service shops. They do not understand the internet. Keep in mind that they do not know any better. They have been salary workers or super hardworking store owners their entire lives. So if you are going to work hard your whole life, why not get the most dollars per hour? Doctor or lawyer. Me and my friends still joke about Tony Hawk's parents. We wonder at what point they stopped telling him to stop skateboarding and get a real job. At some point, the parents will come around if the money is there. With all that said, I would go to college. Why? You are getting a free ride at college. You will enjoy the college life. Think of taking classes as going to work to pay the rent. During your free time, you can work on your business. You will meet many people your age and experience life. Your $1 million business may form from a need that you discover in class or in the dorms. College life will be renting your own crappy apartment any day. First and second year classes should be easy for you. Take these 2 years to create a business. If you can begin making decent money by the end of second year, then show your parents what you've been doing. They will not understand that you can sit at home and work less hours and make more money. You will have to show them with proof. I will guarantee you that once this happens, they will brag to their friends about how their son makes $500,000 and works 4 hours a day, while the other poor sons have to work 16 hours as a doctor to make $300,000. Good luck making money in medicine nowadays. You will never have control of your life again if you listen to them. First you will be a slave to your parents' opinions. Then you will be a slave to your debt, then you will be a slave to the government because they will be deciding every bit of your cash flow. You will certainly be a slave to a voting majority of idiots as well. My parents would have known better than to change my major and mail something off for me. Why? Not because I would have fired back, but because they were reasonable people. Your parents are unreasonable. Do with this info what you will, but don't puss out. There's the line I was afraid would show up. Very few people at this stage in life have what it takes to take a stand against their parents. Most just find an outlet to complain about the injustice and unfairness. But no situation in life benefits from idly complaining about it. You can change your situation or you can change your attitude. If you choose to be a doctor, choose to be a doctor who wants to be the best doctor they can be. This is changing your attitude without changing your situation. You will be happy. If you choose to do something else, go do something else. Accept the consequences and hurdles and blaze your own path. This is changing your situation. You will be happy. But don't, I repeat, do not choose to be the doctor who doesn't want to be a doctor. You will stress out, burn out, go grey early and be genuinely miserable, muttering "I wish" until the end of your days. I wasn't trying to say don't go to college. College is right for some people, but I'm not here to make the judgment. Though I for one can say not to go to college for a business major, like business management. It's a waste of time. I took all the business classes I could in high school. I've learned more from doing the eBay gig than being in those classes. If you are going to go to school for anything, go in for a skill. Doctor, engineer, accountant, etc. Make sure it's what you want to do, though at least with a BM degree you might make a shift supervisor to Starbucks to start paying off your debts.